All right, dude, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and today we're going to be doing a bit of a shorter stream. Um, I started the stream a little late. That's on me. I did mean to start it earlier, but then I got busy with some stuff. On the bright side, I did also do a vlog today, so I'll be posting that soon. I was talking about uh, the the Rust dumb programs repo that I made. And the fact that, I've started this project where I'm going to be asking Gemini to give me ideas for just dumb programs and I'll make them. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a bit of a short stream today. Probably also going to be a bit of a low energy kind of stream today because reasons. Um, give me a second. I need to set up some background sound. Okay. So what I was thinking for today's stream is because I didn't necessarily have, anything in particular to like I mean there is stuff that I need to get done, but because today's stream is going to be a bit on the shorter side, I'm going to try and get to an hour at least. Um but yeah, I mean that's still on the shorter side because I prefer to do a minimum of at least hour and a half. That's what that's kind of what I want to aim for. Also, I realized that I haven't been using my content pipeline nearly as much. I haven't been sifting through clips nearly as much to post on social media. And so I haven't been posting clips on social media. I have been posting, the vlogs. I've been posting other stuff. I haven't been posting about I haven't been posting like daily update. I should do that kind of thing, like daily updates, because I have multiple platforms that I post on. Sometimes I post the exact same thing on all of those platforms. Like that's by choice. But sometimes there's some content that doesn't necessarily fit very well onto certain platforms. Even if the platform does give features or does give the functionality to, put the content there, it's not necessarily always the most convenient, or it might just not feel like it fits in there. For example, text content. I was so okay. My Mainly, if I'm going to be doing text content, I post it on Threads and Twitter, X. Um, TikTok. Sometimes I would post it on TikTok. They do have the functionality to make text posts, and it's not even you're not even limited to like taking an image or taking a blank image like a black background or something and then adding text on top of that. No, they have like a proper text post kind of thing. um so that's great. But I don't necessarily always end up posting on there, like if it's a text post, though. To be fair, the TikTok thing, it has been a little bit of a one of the reasons why I don't post that often on TikTok is because it's been a bit of a rocky road in terms of getting the platform to work, because for some weird reason it constantly would ask me to um, uh, do verification, and unfortunately it would keep, like, for every post, if within 24 hours, or if it's been 24 hours since my last post, or let's say more than, if it's been more than 24 hours since my last post, for some reason TikTok would ask me to verify. Like they would send like a, a code on the phone number, and then I would be expected to enter that code. The issue that I was having was that quite often the code would just not arrive, or it would would, oh my God, quite often the code would not arrive, or it would arrive very late. And so it was just becoming a huge hassle to post on TikTok. So I made sure to post on the other platforms until TikTok gets its shit together on my end. Um, there is something that I did recently, which I'm hoping it might have fixed that issue. I'll have to see. I'm not sure. If it fixed the issue, great. If it didn't fix the issue, then I don't know. I'll see what to do. Um, but yeah. Why was I talking about this? I was talking about the clips and the content pipeline. Yeah, I need to get back to doing that thing, like daily, making at least one post, if not more. Yeah, I should, I should, I should get back to doing that. And I mean, posts that are like, because I do post about other stuff that I'm passionate about, but like it's not necessarily, coding or computers or electronic or anything tech related. It's not. It's other stuff. But I'm talking about tech related stuff. A bunch of the stuff that I've been up to, like, if today I finished, uh, if today I published the Rust dumb programs repo, maybe I can post that on Threads and TikTok or sorry, Threads and X and talk about it. I might post it on Instagram as well. For Instagram, I usually prefer doing videos. Um, the thing is, Instagram seems to favor short form content way more, like way more, to the point that if you try to upload a video that is more than 3 minutes long, they'll warn you saying that this is a longer video. This video is longer than 3 minutes, so it's not going to be shown to anyone except your followers. So if you're trying to, build if you're trying to get reach through posting content, it's not going to happen with longer form content. They definitely want you to post smaller content, or at the very least, they're only going to push your smaller content. They're not pushing the longer content, which is fine. Like in its own way, that's you know, it's probably beneficial. But that also means that posting long form content on something like Instagram, it's not necessarily always going to translate to um, m- building audience. I'm not sure how to say that. It's not necessarily going to translate to more viewership, more engagement, and stuff like that. Another thing I realized was that, and this might just be because maybe I just need to tweak the parameters a little bit in my content pipeline prompt that I'm giving to Gemini. But I noticed that because I made the clips so small, I think I'd given like anywhere between 30 seconds and 10 minutes. I think that's what I'd said. And what ends up happening is that there's very small segments that, I mean, there are also, segments that are a couple minutes long that get that get extracted from the VODs, or rather from the transcript. But I do seem to be seeing a lot of smaller clips, and as a result, I end up going through. By the time I'm done going through the clips, it does seem kind of like I've skimmed through my entire VOD as it is. So, like at that point, I might as well have just opened up the VOD and started skipping through the entire thing. There is one advantage though, with my clip extraction strategy. At the very least, I get a transcript, not a transcript, a manifest, a clip manifest, which gives me timestamps telling me that, hey, at so and so timestamp, there's so and so topic being spoken about. Because I also asked Gemini to give like a suggested title or something like that, or maybe a description or something. So maybe I could just tweak the parameters a little bit. I don't want to make the videos too long, but sometimes the clips, in order for them to have some value, they do need to be that long, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. Um, until I'm able to set up the filter to do jump cuts. Until I'm able to set that up successfully, and it doesn't break anything in the video. Up until that point, I'm gonna need to. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, yeah. Up until that point, I'm gonna need to do these longer videos that tend to have various types of pauses in them. Um, I could work on the algorithm because I do have so my clip extraction utility is ready, right? Hold on, I can open up the project here. Let's create a new window. I don't want to open up Yahtzee right now. Let's do content pipeline. Content pipeline. Why is this in Scratch stuff? Yeah, why is this in Scratch stuff? What do I have in here? Okay, this is, yeah, it's lazy clip extractor. This is the one. This is the one because we have the prompts, we have the README, the repo is in there as well. Give me a second. Let's open up a new window. Oh shit. Um, I forgot to refresh the feed. Give me a second. Let me refresh the RTMP feed. Okay, right. So, why was I doing this? I forgot why I was doing this. I'm a bit low energy today, so bear with me. Um, what was I planning on doing? There was, I don't think I was planning on opening anything. Oh, I think, for whatever reason, I was planning on opening up Git UI here. Okay, I don't think I've set up remotes for this. Yeah, I haven't set up remotes for this. I do need to set up the remotes, so I can then push this to, yeah, dude, I need to set up the remotes for this. So I can actually have this up on GitHub. Well, have it up on GitHub and have my own central repo copy of it. Um, Stuff is changed here in prompts and README. Okay. What was I gonna do? Okay, so what I could do is, let's say if we have exports, we have these. So this is what the exports look like basically for um each of the VODs, and I usually I don't think I can't remember how I set up the, like, do I create the directory manually with the date, or does it get created automatically? I think I created manually. Yeah, because that's just so much simpler. Like once I run the extractor, I think the extraction location is just in here in exports, and then I select all of the clips, and then manually just like cut and paste them in here. After creating the new directory, I manually cut and paste them into that directory. And then I just go through all of the clips. The thing is, these clips are usually pretty small. So if we look at something like this, it's 57 seconds. It's a minute long. Also, they don't always have something valuable in them, if that makes sense. Because I mean, Gemini does extract clips, but it I'm not sure how to put this. The it can it can do a better job. It could do a better job in terms of extracting um in terms of detecting or determining what section of, you know, a certain transcript would be super interesting in some way. So currently what it's doing is gives me the it gives me the transcript, which, or sorry, the manifest. It gives me the manifest, which I then open up. Uh, the clipboard should be working here, right? Maybe what I could do is, because I have NeoVim open somewhere over here. Actually, I could just open up NeoVim here. I don't have to run this, so I don't think I need to worry about errors. Um, okay, imports and then this. So I've ignored these directories in the Git repo, and within the README file, I've actually wait. What do I have open here? I don't remember what I have open. Okay, that's fine. So this is what the manifest looks like. This is what one of the manifests looks like. It gives a start, an end, and a title and a caption. And based on this, and also the title, it gets converted to like a URL friendly version, and then that becomes the file name. So that's why you see file names that look like, hold on, do I have 8 here? I don't think I have 8. I don't think I've run 8 yet. Where's the other? Okay, there's O2, and I believe I have O2. Okay. Yeah, this is O2. So you can see, let's say the very first clip that's here, switching to Western. And because I've set a maximum length that the file name could be. So it's not going to take this entire string and try to make something out of it. It's going to take it up to a certain extent and then, you know, try and make that URL friendly. So what I noticed is that as I'm going through these clips, sometimes I end up in a situation where I might as well just be going through the entire VOD. But I will say that it's still saving some time. I'm not sitting and watching the entire VOD, and this also gives me cues. This gives me um, it gives me information about what's going on in various sections, so I can see either the manifest or I can go into Yahtzee and wait. Oh, sorry, wrong shortcut. This. Yeah, so I can go into Yahtzee and look at the file name. So, like, can you launch programs, or why shell expansion, or embedded systems, or whatever. I can look at these names and determine what the thing, or get some idea of what the clip is gonna look like. And like this, I have close to like 50 clips, and I just go through all of them. What I'm considering is maybe I could, because the thing is, sometimes it happens that there's multiple clips which seem like they belong together. But Gemini couldn't determine that from the transcript. But me watching the VOD, or watching those multiple clips one after the other, I determined that, oh, these belong together. these could fit into one clip. And so then I'll go look at the I'll go look at the manifest and find where these clips are, and I'll look at the start time of the very first clip and the end time of the very last clip, and then I'll use FFmpeg to kind of extract the data from, or extract that clip from the VOD. So this way I'm doing a bit of manual work, which I'm perfectly fine with because that workflow is still a lot faster, and I am able to produce, clips from it. I just wish there was like a bit more automation in this process. Definitely. The process could use a bit more automation. Um, and I have to find like the right balance. So um, I told Gemini, anywhere between 30 seconds and 10 minutes. Like a clip can be anywhere between that time. Maybe I could increase it. Maybe I could increase it to 3 to 6 minutes, because I don't want the clip to be like super long. Um, but at the same time, I also don't want, valuable information to not show up, or not. I don't want malleable, valuable. I don't want valuable information to just be left out because the clip became way too long. That I guess that is where the jump cut thing comes in. So if I can set up that jump cut script, because that's going to require its own separate logic as well. Um, I'll have to I'll have to figure out. I mean, I'm gonna sit down with Gemini and figure out what the logic is. It's gonna involve Python for sure because this project is Python. But once I get the values for that right, then I'll be able to do jump cuts in the clips. They may not be the best quality jump cuts, but they will, I can say that for sure, they will for sure eliminate a bunch of dead air and leave very little dead air in. And the reason why there might be very little dead air in is because I'm going to have to add padding to where I'm going to have to add padding in the sense maybe there's silence for 1 or 2 seconds on one end and silence for 1 or 2 seconds on another end. And then from that one end and other end, if we have silence, for a certain amount of time. So, like keeping that padding in mind, if we still have silence for like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or whatever, cut that out. So that padding is necessary. That bit of padding is definitely gonna help. Um, Hopefully, visually things don't get affected. But yeah, you know what we could do, because I didn't really have much planned. What I'm gonna do is I can ask Gemini for. I mean, there was another conversation that I was having with Gemini about this. I can't remember where it was though. Um, so wait, hold on. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I there is another thing I could, when I'm generating these manifests, I could use some of the more advanced capabilities of Gemini. That's something that I haven't been doing because um well, these more advanced capabilities of Gemini are more so for, in their own words, advanced math and code. And there's another thing in terms of thinking level. You can set a standard thinking level, which is apparently best for most questions, but you can also do extended, which is complex problem solving. I think it involves like a bit more agent stuff in there. Um, so I want to see what kind of, because I'll have the free usage available. I think it's like a daily limit of the free usage, at least on Gemini Web. So I can give it I think I can give it a try. Yeah, I think I can give it a try. I might have to use it in a more economical way. Um, Sorry, give me a second. Okay, all right. Yeah, yeah. Because the prompts, if we look at the prompts here, there are two or three different prompts that I drop in there, right? At first, I prep it. I say, okay, I'm gonna give you a link, and then I have some instructions for you. Analyze the transcript for it. Then I have some instructions for you, and of course, in that prompt, I'll also give the, YouTube video link, and then I give it the actual instructions. Now, this is where I need to tweak a couple of things because, like, for example, I've mentioned here, it can be anywhere from 30 seconds to 10 minutes in length. What I could do is I could make it, because I feel like that 30 seconds thing is causing problems. It's creating a lot of noise. So I want to try tweaking the values and see if maybe increasing it to 3 minutes in length. So if I'll say 3 minutes to 10 minutes in length, then maybe I'll get, longer clips, and hopefully the clips are going to have a lot of, a lot more depth to them. I'm not sure what term to use there, but the clips will have a lot more, that's the best word I can use there, a lot more depth. Um, they'll have more content, more value in them. It's not just me saying one or two sentences and then that's the entire clip. The thing is, once I set up my jump cut algorithm, my jump cut script via FFmpeg, of course, once I set that up, I'm also, I don't know why I said I'm also, once I set that up, these clips will hopefully become, the like 3 minute clips will hopefully shrink down to anywhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes, or 30 seconds and minute and a half, or something like that. Um, yeah, yeah. So hopefully I should still end up with shorter clips, only they'll be packed with a lot more information. I don't mind that the jump cuts might look a little bit weird visually. Um, to be fair, there's already a lot going on the screen in my streams, so I don't think my avatar, my model, kind of glitching a little bit is gonna is gonna like ruin the aesthetic all that much. I do wish I could have set up something similar to what Twitch does, where they give you the option for portrait mode. They allow you to edit the regions that are going to be shown. So right now I'm streaming in landscape mode. It's being streamed to Twitch. If you're watching it, if you're watching it on mobile or on PC, you're watching it in landscape mode. There is a portrait mode now, though. They've introduced a new portrait mode that's becoming a thing, but like for the most part, it's all been landscape. Portrait mode, official portrait mode is going to be introduced. It's coming soon. So far, I think there's like beta tests going on. But for the most part, it's landscape. When you clip something, the clip is also in landscape, but Twitch gives you the option to set up what the portrait mode would look like. I think they do set up like a default thing of what the portrait mode would look like, but you get to edit what it's going to look like. So you are given two different options. I think one is just one rectangle, which you can then decide where what portion of the screen it shows, and then there's two rectangles, which you can make one of them a square as well. You can change the shape of what it's gonna look like, but these two shapes, they are meant to occupy two halves of your screen. Not necessarily half, but like two sections of your screen. You get to decide how much of the screen will be occupied by one shape and how much will be occupied by the other shape. So if we are talking about a streamer who has face cam, for example, or a streamer who's a VTuber, a live 2D VTuber, or even VR chat VTuber or whatever 3D VTuber, they can have the top section show their their model or their face cam or whatever, and the bottom section can show whatever they're trying to show in the clip. So that way you can you have a nice little editing interface. Twitch gives you this option. I want to see if I can maybe build something similar. It's not going to be a trivial thing to build. If I'm being honest, it is not going to be a trivial thing to build, especially because there's a bunch of things that come into play there. I have to, I'll have to essentially create my own clip editor. So it's not the most trivial thing to do. The one thing that I could do is maybe only create an editor for defining the shapes, right? But then I'm going in blind because I don't know exactly what the final thing is going to look like. I'm just defining these shapes and I'm hoping that they fit right. And I've selected, the best regions that I can show. So it's not the most trivial problem to solve. So that's why I don't want to try and tackle that problem. Besides, I kind of like posting landscape mode clips. Yeah, I don't know. There's something I like about posting landscape clips. I don't want to post portrait stuff, or I don't want to try and force portrait. If most of the stuff that I'm doing is fitting within landscape, I'm going to keep it landscape. I'm not going to try and force it into portrait mode, because trying to force it into portrait mode means you either zoom out so that the entire rectangle is shown, the rectangle of the landscape, but then it's really zoomed out, right? And then there's a bunch of free real estate at the top and at the bottom of the screen, which is going to end up being black or whatever other color. Usually it's black. So it's just going to be blank space. That's one way. Another way is, if you want to force portrait, then you have to define the section that the portrait mode is going to be looking at. So you essentially have to zoom into your clip and you have to crop, more or less. You have to crop and zoom this video, and then you're not showing the entire section of the video. So there's complications with that, and I'm perfectly fine with posting landscape stuff. If there's ever something that needs to be in portrait, I'll post it in portrait. If I've made it in portrait, and if turning something into portrait is not going to be the most, you know, inconvenient thing, then yeah, sure. But I don't think I want to try and force it. Right now, my pipeline is also producing just landscape clips. I'll post the clips as they are. Um, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I was talking about this, right? So here I have this. I don't think any of this needs to be changed, because trying to change this now could break the code here, because this code is expecting, hold on. Okay, yeah. This code is expecting it's expecting a certain JSON structure, right? So I don't want to break that. Actually, no, hold on. Yeah, yeah. No, at least in terms of parsing, it's not expecting a certain JSON structure, but then the fields that I'm going to end up accessing, that does depend on the structure, right? So where all am I? Okay, okay, okay. Clips. Okay, that gets loaded, and then because that is an yeah, in JSON, this is an array of dictionaries. So then once I get the dictionary, I know that there's keys in each of them. There's going to be an actually ID is something I'm adding here. After I've processed a certain clip manifest, then I put that into, I think it's this indexed clip manifest. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look into that. It should be in my code. Yeah, because I'm doing a dump here. So open index so and so, and then I think at that point I don't save it after that. Once I get the indexed version, sorry, give me a second. Once I get the indexed version, that basically looks like this. It's pretty much the same thing, but there's an ID added to each of the clips. I forgot exactly what I'm using the ID for. I'm pretty sure I'm using it for something. I just don't remember what. Oh, it's for this. For the naming convention for because I do add, like you see, 0, 1, 10, 11. These are the IDs. That's how I'm adding the ID to the thing. Sorry, give me a second. Okay, all right. Yeah, so I need to work on that. Yeah, yeah, hold on. Wait, wrong thing. Let's go up here and okay, now vlog topics Toml is done. Rust into I actually haven't covered. I have. Yeah, I have. I didn't cover gaming though. That's something I haven't touched yet. Do I have something for post stream? I can't remember if I have an after stream thing. T journal. Okay, okay. Um how to disable iPod. That is so old. Holy shit, dude. Okay, how do we move this down? Oh, like that. Okay. So, after stream. Dude, I remember there being a post stream thing. Uh, okay. Anyways, sorry, give me a second. Okay, all right. So back to what I was doing here. I was about to type something for this. It was something content pipeline related. What was it? There was something content pipeline related. Okay. Content pipeline v05 or 0.5. Okay, content pipeline. Yeah, there was, oh yeah, tweak. Hold on, tweak. Tweak values and just it's mainly the length. Yeah, yeah. Change suggested length in prompt from 30 sec to 10 minutes, 10 min range, uh, to, I'm not sure how to say this. Oh, let's, oh my God, words. Let's just do this, from this range to, let's say 3 min to 10 min range. Okay, that's done. I need to fix this color issue that I'm having because this text appears gray. Um, and it's hard to read the thing. Actually, if I was doing it here, it would be a little more visible, but like the other thing that the other screen that I was reading this on, it wasn't that visible. Okay, change suggested length in prompt. Okay, then research clip jump cut mechanism via FFmpeg and Python. Okay, so that's done. Save it, and yeah, yeah. Okay, now hold on while I type out this prompt to Gemini. Hey, so I'm using, hey, so I want to use FFmpeg to remove the silence. I need to, there were two separate methods that Gemini had told me about. There was one method which ended up causing issues. It ended up causing a sort of weird desync in the video and audio, which I wasn't able to fix. Gemini also wasn't able to fix it because there was a specific reason why it was happening. Um, and Gemini said that instead of that, use the other method. Um, I'm going to mention that here as well. Hey, so I want to use FFmpeg to remove silence from a video. Essentially doing jump cuts. In the past, we have spoken about this, and you suggested using filters in FFmpeg. I do plan on using Python, just an FYI. So anyways, the first method that you had given me, or I should say the first filter that you had given me, uh, after some experimentation, we realized that it does not fit Well, because it was causing a weird desync between the audio and video where the audio would get sliced, but the video would remain where it is. And as a result, the audio was short while the video was long. After that, you suggested another filter. Oh, wait. Worth mentioning, at this point, Python was not being used. We were just choosing some settings and passing them into FFmpeg as arguments. Um, Stuff like silence, duration, um, I don't know, threshold, exact, etc. Okay. After that, you suggested another filter which would produce a bunch of data, which I would then parse in Python and then use Python to set up the entire ffmpeg command to only extract the sections I need and probably also re-encode the entire thing so that there's no desync issues or freeze slash blank frames, etc. I'd like to revisit that convo because I never tried the second filter. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, Gemini said, I know exactly what you're talking about. When you try to use FFmpeg's built-in silence detect or silence remove filters directly on a video file without re-encoding it, it often it often only slices the audio track and drops audio packets because the video track frames aren't explicitly being cut at the exact same timestamps. The player gets confused, leading to the massive audio-video desync or frozen frames. Okay. The second method we discussed completely bypasses that issue by using Python as the brain and FFmpeg as the muscle. Here's a breakdown of how that workflow works and the specific filter you need to use. Strategy: detect, parse, and cut. Instead of asking FFmpeg to cut the video on the fly, you use a two-step process. First, you run a filter to find the exact timestamps of silence. Then you execute. You parse those timestamps in Python to calculate the loud segments. Wait, you parse those timestamps to calculate the loud segments. Okay. So the timestamps are the exact timestamps of silence. And then using those timestamps, we are detecting loud segments. Then you feed those precise segments back into uh, back into a final FFmpeg command that extracts and stitches them together perfectly. Okay, the silence detection filter. The filter you are looking for is silence detect. You pass the video into FFmpeg, tell it what volume threshold and duration count as silence, and it spits out a log of timestamps. Here's the command you run from Python to get that data. Okay, all right. Anything quieter than negative 30 decibels is considered silence. Adjust this based on your microphone background noise. Okay, then zero point 0.5. The silence must be at least zero point 0.5 seconds long, so half a second long, to trigger a cut. Okay, that works. And then there's F null. This tells FFmpeg not to output a new video file. It just processes, but just process the file and dump the data to the console. Then what the data looks like. So this is what the data looks like. Actually, what I'll do is I'll copy this in here so you guys can see it as well. I did have a Scratch thing open, didn't I? Um, okay, let's open that up. I believe this is the older method that I was using. Actually, no, I think this is just no, this is something else. Yeah, no, this is something else. Give me a second here. I'm just testing something. All right, so this is the command that Gemini just gave me. And according to Gemini, the output for this is going to look like this. The output is going to look like this. Now, if it looks exactly like this, then there is some uniformity here, because we can parse it in a way that's like, okay, silence start is one message. After silence start is detected, we look for a silence end, and we know that in the silence end message, there's going to be a silence duration. So that's one way, one route that we can go. That's one way that we can go about doing this. Okay, the Python logic. In Python, you will capture this text output using subprocess. Your script will actually, okay, what I could do is I could make this a little more manual. Or, I mean, to be fair, I could make it part of the Python script. Once I'm sure what the output is going to look like, once I'm sure that the output is always going to be uniform, because if we are detecting patterns in it, there has to be a certain amount of uniformity. Otherwise, the parsing script is going to, well, break. I wonder if I can get FFmpeg to output this as JSON. Yeah, yeah. What if, hold on. Okay, parse the so-and-so values. Hey, so writing my own parser seems very hectic and error prone. I know there are easier ways to write parsing logic. However, shit, dude, I could just get Gemini to vibe code it for me. Like write an entire parser that reads data that's in this format. I could do that. I could do that, but I'm gonna ask this. I'm gonna ask this question. Hold on. I know there are easier ways to write parsing logic. However, I'm wondering if I could just get FFmpeg to output this in JSON. That would be much less hectic to parse. You're completely right. Parsing raw text logs with regex is a classic now you have two problems solution. Unfortunately, FFmpeg's silence detect filter cannot output directly to JSON. It only dumps raw text to the standard error stream. However, there is a much less hectic way to handle this in Python without writing a fragile custom parser. You can use ffprobe, which is FFmpeg's sister tool meant for gathering media information, to get JSON, or you can use a Python library that wraps um, the text that wraps the text parsing for you. Okay. FFprobe gives you true JSON output. Okay, so what Gemini is suggesting is this. That's a little long, so let me wrap that. So this is what Gemini is suggesting. And apparently, yes, out of the box, it supports, um, wait, start time, end time, frame, packet, so and so. Okay, all right. Wait, back up. Okay, so we don't use FFmpeg at all. We just use ffprobe. And here we wanted to, I guess this means outputting to the error stream. Because like when you run a command, there's an input stream, an output stream, and an error stream. So like depending on what the data is, obviously input is taking input, output is what the program outputs usually, and the error stream is when there's an error in the program. So these two separate streams allow you to have separate kinds of logic for handling errors and output, like in different ways. Um, okay, all right, and then silence detect. Okay, then we give our parameters here. All right, so apparently this should give us the timestamps of silence specifically. So what Gemini is saying is, what this returns, it will return a perfectly formatted JSON string containing entry packets where the silence starts and stops. In Python, you just need to do json.loads. Okay, and instantly you have a clean dictionary to loop through, no text parsing required. The second option is use an existing Python package. If you want to keep the code incredibly simple, the open source community has already solved this. You can use a library like wrapped ffmpeg or a dedicated tool like auto editor. But for a pure Python script, a lightweight wrapper like ffmpeg Python or a quick standard regex is the standard. If you don't want to use ffmpeg because its JSON structure for filters can sometimes be deeply nested and a bit confusing, here's the cheat code to parse the standard ffmpeg output in just 3 lines. Okay, this uses regex. There is some pattern here. To be fair, there is a bit of a pattern here. It's a 3-line parser. So this reads silence start. This is silence end. And then here, I'm not sure what zip does. What does zip do in Python? I don't have Python open here. Actually, no, I do. It's probably the standard library though. So, or it's probably the global installation though. Um, what I could do is, okay, Python 3.13, help, zip. Okay, the zip object yields n-length tuples, where n is the number of iterables passed as positional arguments to the zip. The ith element in every tuple comes from the ith iterable argument to zip. I didn't understand that part. But okay, okay. So what I'm guessing is it creates a tuple. Yeah, I think it's creating a tuple. Right, wait, where's the thing we were looking at? Oh, I just realized you guys can't see Gemini was asking me to hold on. I just need this to unfreeze. Okay. This is the code that Gemini gave me, and this is our test text, and then this is the regex. So what it's going to do is it's going to prepare tuples for each of the start and end timestamps, and it's going to create a list of those tuples, and that's our silence thing. And then we print out the JSON. Dude, honestly, I'm willing to give this a try. If it works, I'm not complaining. If it works, it works. I don't even mind making it a two-step process to make sure that the the output that's given can actually be parsed by my code. I don't mind doing that. Yeah, yeah. I like this idea. I like this idea. Definitely. So what I can do is I can pick, let's say I can pick a 5 minute segment or a 3 minute segment from the VOD, and then run FF probe to, I haven't specified a timestamp here. Or, well, Gemini didn't specify a timestamp. So I can ask Gemini how I can, like, if it's a longer video and I only want to detect silence from this segment to that segment, like how do I go about doing that? Okay, so I have something to, I mean, I have a bunch of other stuff to do as well, but like now I have this to do as well. Once I do this, I feel like it's gonna, well, once I do this, once I've accomplished this, and I have also tweaked the values in the prompt, I feel like I'm going to be getting much better quality clips, and I won't have to sift through nearly as many smaller clips. In the end, I can't help but think that it does the time spent does end up being somewhat similar, but I wouldn't say it's exactly similar. I can't say for sure though, because I don't have the patience to like sit through my entire VOD to find things that are interesting. I would much rather have these helpful cues to determine that, oh, this is interesting, that is interesting. But yeah, um, you know what? I think that's gonna be it for today's stream. I'll try and start the stream. No, why do I'm so used to saying this that I'll try and stream again tomorrow. So I kind of start out with that. And another thing is I say that I'll try and start the stream earlier tomorrow. Which yeah, that's still an issue that I'm having where I end up starting the stream late and then I get very little time to stream. Or I mean, at the very least I get an hour to stream, but I would like to stream for longer. But yeah, yeah. That's going to be it for today's stream. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.